To test an authorized net transaction key, you need to first understand what a transaction key is and how it works. A transaction key is a unique code that is used to authenticate and authorize transactions through the authorized net payment gateway. The first step is to obtain a transaction key from the authorized net merchant interface. Log into your account and navigate to the Settings or Account section, where you will find the option to generate a new transaction key. Once you have obtained the transaction key, you need to test it to ensure it is working correctly. You can do this by using the authorized net sandbox environment, which is a test environment that allows you to simulate transactions without actually processing any real payments. To test the transaction key in the sandbox environment, you will need to use a programming language such as PHP or Java to send a test transaction request to the authorized net API. The request should include the transaction key and other required parameters such as the amount and payment method. If the transaction key is valid and the request is formatted correctly, the authorized net API will return a successful response indicating that the transaction was approved. If the transaction key is invalid or the request is not formatted correctly, the API will return an error response indicating what went wrong. Best practices for testing a transaction key include using a sandbox environment to avoid accidentally processing real payments and thoroughly testing all possible scenarios and error conditions to ensure that your integration is robust and reliable. By following these steps and best practices, you can ensure that your authorized net transaction key is working correctly and that your payment integration is secure and reliable. Remember to always keep your transaction key secure and never share it with anyone or store it in an insecure location.